Hail all, and welcome to Skull That Works. I am Blake, and I'm here to teach you how to play the Tagelharpa. In my previous video, I introduced the instrument by giving you a brief history, specs about this instrument, in comparison to other instruments similar to this, as well as went over a list of the parts of the instrument as well. And in this video, I want to go over some basics of what you need to get set up and how to get started. The first thing I want to set you up with is a list of things that you will need to get to start and care for the instrument. The second thing I'm going to show you is how to hold the instrument, and then I will show you how to hold the bow. After we do that, I'm going to show you how to put rosin onto the bow. And then finally, we will set you up by getting you started by tuning the instrument up. And hopefully this will get you started with this next bit and lead us to our next video. Okay, the first thing of obvious you'll need is your instrument. And the second thing you'll need is your bow. But here's some other items you may need. First of all, you'll need a tuner. What kind of tuner that you have doesn't matter. Mine is a Snark, Super Snark tuner. A little bit more expensive than the standard, but it does the job very well because it clips on right here nice and tight, like so. Your second thing you'll need is a block of rosin. Now, the block of rosin I recommend is a dark rosin, preferably a violin rosin, which works very, very well in these situations. The kind I'm using right now is called a super sensitive. This is just a small, cheap block that I got and that I've had that I bought at a store. So it really doesn't matter what kind you use as long as it's dark. I would avoid some of the lighter rosins and probably a brand called Jade, which I have had not success even on violins before. So that's a good thing to take note of. Another thing I like to add is a cleaning cloth. This is made by Daddario, of course, again. It's made by Daddario, have it upside down. And this is really good for many uses with the instrument. One being cleaning, and another one I'm going to show you in a minute, in the next segment. Another thing I would recommend, if your instrument has one, is one of these. This is a tuning key that fits into your tuning blocks like this. It makes it easier. It makes it easier for you to wrench in and tune a friction peg. Now, not all makers will make these, and I recommend if you have one, use the specific one that is made to the maker of the instrument, that is specifically made by the maker of the instrument that you've gotten. Because sometimes they may not fit. I am not sure. If you can have it fit other instruments, then that's great for you. Now, one of the ways we hold this instrument is by between the knees, like I have right here. You want a little angle that allows you to easily access your strings and everything else. One of the other ways, sometimes this will dig into your legs, and the best way I can handle this, if it does dig in your legs, you can also use your cloth that I just mentioned as a little resting pad. And that way it doesn't dig into your legs very well. This is the ideal playing position because as you're bowing, it's going to go down the string like so and be aligned. Now, another way to hold the instrument is by another option that I forgot to mention in the first part, that an optional thing is a strap. And it's very difficult to find straps for these. I'm still looking myself, and so it's probably best to have a maker fit one for you to your specs. That way you can have the perfect fit. But what you want is down low enough to where you can play very, very comfortably. One of the examples, look at Einar Selvik again, and how he has his straps done, and then you'll get a good idea. Now, another portion that I forgot to mention in the first video, it's a vital part, is the bow. First of all, you have a stick, and you also have a horsehair. Sometimes the horsehair get let loose, like I have it right here. Now, the way to hold a bow is first, I'm going to take you from this side, is to put these two fingers right here, and this finger like so. Then you wrap it around and hold it like this. Now these two fingers will be pressing down right here. These will be pressing down, creating tension when you put pressure across the bowstrings. Now most bowed instruments will have like what they call a movable frog, which pulls and tightens the string for you. This is only like on violin bows and modern day bows. But this was a common way to do it back in the day. So if you want to get your the nice sound, I would recommend like two fingers on the string pressing down, with one finger either wrapped around or pressing down on top. You can also push it through your knuckles too, like this. But it's whatever is comfortable for you and whatever gives you the best results. Alright, now let's get to rosining the bow. First of all, you want to take your bow, like so, and take your block of rosin. Sometimes you can start back here, but sometimes that's not necessary since you're putting tension right here. So that's not your playing field. But you can, if you go slowly, line your rosin, if you can see what I'm doing. Line your rosin with the hair and gently go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth until you feel like it's really good on there. The purpose of this is if you didn't have the bow rosined or the strings rosin, it is going to make a really, really raspy sound. But if you go back and forth on there, like I said again, you should get a good coating of rosin on there. Some new bows will take a lot more rosining to get that coating on there. And sometimes you have to scratch the block like I have right here to get a good traction and get it to apply better. Now, I mentioned putting it on the strings. Now that is optional. But sometimes the best results come from over much. Again, you'll put it on the string. You don't want too much. You don't want to go all the way up and down the string. You just want to go into this little zone right here. So you'll make this a couple passes here, just gently pressing down. And again, here, pressing down. And pressing here. It gets real squeaky there, so it kind of cover your ears. Until you feel like you have a good coating there. This will give you the best coating to get your sound. Now, there is such thing as applying too much rosin. The effects of applying too much rosin, in my case, have become either too grippy, too raspy, too gritty sometimes. It also can be too powdery, and I've had powder come off on the fingerboard, which is the reason why I like to use my white cloth to clean it off. One thing I would not recommend doing, if you can, is touching your bow rosin directly. because it can come off, it can get on your fingers, and it can get sticky. So keep this in mind whenever you are applying rosin to your bow. Just whatever feels like it needs to be there, and nothing more, nothing less. Alright, now let's get started on how to tune your instrument. Now, I got this in reverse, so it's kind of hard for me to see, but it will help you see a little bit better what I'm doing. Now, the tunings here for the instrument are going to be, if you pay attention to music theory, are going to be your root, which is this string, your fifth, and your octave. That means your root note is the primary note in your key, or your primary tuning. Then it's going to be a fifth note above your root. So, and then this string will be an octave, a full 8 positions off this one, which will sound like a higher version of this. So, my tuning is B2, F sharp 3, and B3. And my alternate tuning, which I don't have it in right now, is C3, G3, and C3. 4, C4. Sorry. Now, to tune your instrument, first of all, you want your tuning mechanism, your fine tuners, to be in equilibrium. So, like, you need them to be equally down, so you have plenty of travel going up and down. Then, this is the tricky part. You want to, I got it now, and like it's going wavy and C. You want to tune this with your key if you can. If not, with your hand right here. You want to insert that right there and tune a slight hair down. Now see, it's kind of tricky to do it with horsehair and friction pegs. That's why I need to put it in there very well. Okay, now I want this as close to B as possible, but not right on B. This is not necessary. And you do it with the rest of these. Now, to get this a little bit better, I'll use the fine tuners. I see it's, and these will be a little bit more sharp. And this is very fickle, so it's going to take a while to get it dialed in when you do it. Now we're there. Now my F sharp is slightly sharp. We'll leave it there for now. Then my B is slightly sharp. So I will twist. Now you can pluck it from up here as you go. Now I'm going to leave it to you as to when you tune it with the fine tuners. The fine tuners are to twist to sharpen. You want to twist clockwise, and then, which is to the right, and then when you want to flatten, you twist it to the left, which is counterclockwise. Now it's jumping between B and F right now, but it's reading that. Also, I forgot to mention that when you're twisting this, you want to twist it. Look at the way your tuners will wind up here on your friction peg. See how it's wind this way? That means I want to turn it this way to go sharp, and that way to go more flat. Now, one of the trickiest parts I found with this instrument, especially with horsehair, is that one thing, it doesn't read it very well on this side. It has to be flipped over for me to get it right. But it's very hard to get it when you're doing pizzicato. One of my tricks for tuning, the first trick for this tip for tuning, if you're doing it playing plucking, it's best to pluck the string and let it settle a bit before plucking it again. That way it allows it to settle. When it settles, that's where it will come to, and that's where it will be more accurate. That way it will come to your it will come to the spot that it needs to be once it settles. So like this. Because once you pluck it, it dances a little bit. Now, what my biggest trouble with this is when you tune it, sometimes this tends to go sharp because the pressure of the bow on the strings causes it to bend a bit. So my best bet is to bow it that note, make sure it's not sharp. You can just do this back and forth until you get it tuned. Get a little bit more in key. But you can also do this by bowing. A little disclaimer, though, I'm going to say right here, is I'm not going to teach you how to use a tuner in this thing because it's a little too much, it'll take too much of my time and your time to learn how to do this. So I would recommend learning how to use a tuner. There's plenty of tuner apps out there. Again, you can get clip-on tuners. These big Snarks are very, very good at clipping on the back here. And you can get your tuning. And this one here also has a Hertz reading where I can read it very well. So there's my tuning there. And like that, and you're in tune. Now keep in mind that I will go over the purpose of each of these strings when we're in the next two lessons. But for now, this gets you tuned in, gets you dialed in. I'll post the tunings I have below, and then I will also give you a good readout of I'll probably put some of these products below to let you know what I have in stock. Just again, look for a cleaning cloth and stuff like that. All right. In conclusion, I am going to leave this off with you with this. Again, the tuning the instrument is very hard, is very challenging experience, especially with horsehair. But as long as you have all the right products and the patience to know how, you can get these lessons down. you can get everything dialed in the way you want to. And you can also get it where you know where it's going to go, where you want it and where it's going to go. Now, another disclaimer for this is this thing is very temperamental to heat and cold, especially sudden changes. So I would avoid keeping, I mean, you can go outside if you want to and play it. It's going to take a little bit more to get dialed in, but once it gets acclimated, it should be fine. I would just avoid like direct heat sources like an air condition if you have an air condition, or a heater, a radiator, or whatever is in your country. I would just recommend staying away from direct heat sources and air sources, because even a fan can just waver it out of place. So there's that especially for horsehair and friction pegs. Another disclaimer I forgot to mention is that these friction pegs sometimes will have slippage or be stuck, but I will go over how to get I'll go over this right now, and then I'll rehash it in my tips and tricks video. But one of the tips I noticed, if it gets stuck, you just rub the friction pegs down with a little soap, just regular white plain soap will do fine. And if you find that they are slipping a little bit, you can just rub them down with chalk. And that's what I've been told by the maker of this instrument itself. So some makers will have different procedures and tips and tricks as well. It's whatever works for you, and hopefully that will help you with that along the way. Now, in my next video, I am going to include, or I'm going to go into how to bow the instrument. We're going to try a little bit of rhythms there. I'm going to tell you how to keep the bow in line and get you set up for that. Let you practice that for a week. Once we get into the bowing, you're going to practice that for a week, and then, or maybe not a week, but you can do a week if you feel comfortable. If you feel like you've gotten it, then you can go into my next video, which I'll post probably about 3 days or so, which will be actually showing you how to play some notes. And then the next video after that will be, again, my tips and tricks video. And then I may continue the lessons. I don't know from there, but we'll see. So if you like this video and you want to stick around and learn more on how to play this, please subscribe to my channel. Also hit that bell notification so you know whenever I post again. And also give this thing a like and share it. If you have any tips of your own, if you have any experience and you want to put your input on this, leave a comment down below. Now, also, if you are interested, please check my other videos as well as my music videos. I only think I have one right now, so check that out. Give it a like and help this channel grow and reach more people. And I'll see y'all guys next time. Skull.